The Gold Sheet wants you to end the 2022 football season on a winning note while getting a head start on planning for the next season. Founded in 1957, the Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter and has served bettors for over 6 decades. So if between 1957 and now, if you have not checked out the Gold Sheet, here's your chance to see what you have been missing out on at a huge discount. Each weekly edition of the Football Gold Sheet is normally $15, but for the holidays, you can get every edition from now through Super Bowl 57 for just a total of $19. If you like what you see, take advantage of the super early bird pricing for next year by locking in your Football Gold Sheet subscription for 2023 for just $99. You will receive every college football and NFL edition for next season for just $99, plus a free $59 credit to use towards Gold Sheet's LTS picks at WagerTalk. Instructions for redeeming your WagerTalk credit will be sent shortly after your purchase. Just go to goldsheet.com, click the Buy Now button, choose a 2022 Football Gold Sheet for $19, and lock yourself in through the Super Bowl 57.
Welcome everybody to WagerTalk Today. I am Lawrence Presman, that handsome old guy. Well, he's Teddy Covers, and you're watching the best daily sports betting show on the freaking planet. Teddy, I'm feeling it, man. I'm feeling it. The track pants are still on. 5-2 night last night. The run continues. My brother, what is going on this awesome show today?
We're going to open up with Jimmy Adams. Talk bowl action for tonight. Texas Tech and Ole Miss, as well as some NFL for this weekend. The Panthers and the Bucks. Skee Profit's going to join us next. He's going to talk the Lakers and the Heat in NBA action for tonight, as well as the Nuggets and the Kings. Arthur DiCesare is going to join us to close out the show. Race and sports risk management supervisor over at the Westgate Superbook here in Las Vegas. We're going to pick his brains about what's going on the other side of the counter. And of course, my big game breakdown for tonight. We're going to talk some Pelicans and T-Wolves. So loaded Wednesday edition, Prez.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. You got anything good planned for New Year's?
No. I'll be awake. Yeah,
dude,
I don't
we're
expect
way
to be
too
awake
old
at
for
midnight.
that shit.
Yeah.
Way too old for that shit. Oh, I went in my youth, Teddy. I went 7 New Year's in a row scoring. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was a long freaking time ago, though. And sure, I remember, dude, on my 7th New Year's, I was in Melbourne, Australia, and I was walking the streets going, who's going to be my number 7? Finally, a woman stepped up. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give out a promo for me, and then I'm done. I swear to you, I'm done. I promise I will be good this show. So, Dan, put up the promo, man. Oh, Dan needs a sec. Anyway, long story short, I gave out this promo last week. I really suggest you guys take advantage of it. My runs are ridiculous. My hoops run is 43-18. That's 43 wins and 18 losses. My NBA run is 10-2. My college basketball run is 30-14. I'm killing the bowls. My NFL season has been spectacular. My NHL season is break even. I'm absolutely ecstatic with the way things are going. The promo code is SAVE500. Basically, if you buy my CBB and NBA package together, it's $999. Just use the promo code SAVE500. You get $500 off of that package. That's half price. Now, speaking of rolling, Jimmy frickin' Adams joining us. And Jimmy, my God, man, what an outstanding NFL season. Just really spectacular stuff. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you so much, Prez, Teddy. Good to be on as always. Yeah, we continue to roll in the NFL. 7-0 run now, 71.8% for the year. And our bosses put together a fantastic special for me as well that you can can get. I'm sure we'll talk about that.
We'll do that at the end of the segment. Let's get straight into it. Texas Tech plus 3.5 against Ole Miss. How you betting this one?
Yeah, look, we got two teams that finished the season in complete directions, right? 3-0 straight up, 3-0 against the spread, including a pretty nice win over Oklahoma. We have Ole Miss. They started the season out strong, but then their schedule got a little bit tougher, and they really struggled when it did, dropping 4 of their last 5. This is really a bet on the Texas Tech offense. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how their defense is going to shut down the rushing attack that Ole Miss is going to bring at them, because they're not. They're going to get their yards on the, but they're going to get gashed through the air by the Red Raiders. Tyler Shuck, he's an NFL talent. He's been unlucky due to injuries. He's ready to go now. He put up 436 yards in that win at Oklahoma. Really a play on the number for me here. I like getting the field goal and the hook. I do not think that Ole Miss is going to be able to slow down this passing attack from Texas Tech. So give me the red this one.
So total in this game, the 71.5s are getting bet up at 72 right now at most books. It may go higher. If you don't expect Texas Tech to shut down Ole Miss, but you do expect Texas Tech to score all day against Ole Miss, would you look at the over here as well? And if so, is the number now a little bit too high for you to get involved with? Is 72 a stop price on the over, or is this just going to be one of these fun games that's back and forth all night long?
Yeah, no, you nailed it as usual, Teddy. It is correlated with the over. I would recommend the over as well. I'm just not a huge totals better. My clients know that. I stick to the sides. I like getting the 3 and the hook. Look, Texas Tech, they avoided opt-outs, which is key, and they actually played a very tough schedule. It goes nicely with a lot of the SEC teams. So I like the side here, but I would recommend a play on the over as well.
Jimmy Adams joining us, everybody. Number one, I think, in NFL over the entire year, and a really good dude, which is important because success is when other people like you. Jimmy, really, really big game in Tampa Bay this weekend. I mean, could decide who gets out of that division and goes into the playoffs. We got the Panthers at +3. I'm doing the NFL presidential address. I'm taping at 2 p.m. Today, so I've done my research. I'm personally leaning towards the Bucs here. I'm looking at this as they can't seem to get out of their way, but yet they seem to be able to play well in the last 5 minutes of every football game. In a must-win game like this, I got to look at Brady, and I know it pains me given how bad he's been playing and his interceptions and overthrowing and underthrowing. But, man, this team is loaded with talent. Their defense last year were impossible to run against. That is not the case this year. And that's where this game might come down to. How many yards does Carolina put on the ground? I like the Bucs, man. I don't know if I'll get to the window, but I'm really curious where you're going here.
Yeah, you've been hot, Prez, but unfortunately, I'm going to be opposite you on this game.
That's okay,
like
bro.
Like you said, huge game on tap. We got a battle for the division in the NFC South. Panthers come in playing pretty good football. I mean, they've won 3 of 4, beat the Lions last week. We all know how good Carolina's defense can be, but suddenly the offense is kind of showing signs of life, putting up 37 points, rushing for 320 yards in that win over the Lions. Detroit had 45, in case you're curious. So the Bucs are a fade team for me right now. I'm done with they're too talented. We're too far into the season. They barely got by a Cardinals team on their third-string quarterback last week. Tom Brady's missing open receivers. The rush defense hasn't been good either. They're allowing 127.7 yards on the ground over their past 3 games. So the Panthers need to get the Bucs off the field on third down. That's an area where they've really struggled. But the Bucs have struggled at converting third down, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. As far as trends, Tampa has been absolute money burners this season. They're 3-11-1 against the spread on the year. That's good for worst in the league. So last time these teams met, week 7, 21-3 victory. I think we got a live dog on our hands come Sunday.
So the last time these two teams met, Tampa was -13 at Carolina. And now it's -3 in Tampa. So the markets have made a huge adjustment between meeting 1 and meeting 2. And of course, the Bucks right now have the anti-betting bandwagon. They've covered 1 point spread their last 10 ball games. They haven't covered a spread at home all year long. Whereas Carolina, they covered 3 of their last 4, and all of a sudden people are looking at the Panthers right now. Is Carolina still an undervalued commodity anymore, or is it Tampa now that may have the value at this stage?
So I don't think Tampa is necessarily as an undervalued commodity. It just comes down to, man, how many times do we have to see the Bucks fail to cover before we stop betting them? I'm just not a guy that's gonna jump in and start betting on a team that's 11-1 against the spread on the year. Yeah. Tom Brady's not playing well, and as much talent as this team has, they're gonna have to prove it to me before I can get to the window with them. Getting a plus price with Carolina seems pretty enticing to me, and I'll be betting it.
Yeah, well, listen, Jimmy, I got mad respect for your NFL skills. A 7-0 NFL run. Teddy, man, this dude, I'm not even kidding you, 72% on the NFL season. I mean, those numbers are so sick, Jimmy. I mean, it's really quite unbelievable. So if you like the Panthers and I like the Bucks, I'm thinking this is a layoff game because I don't want to step in the way of you, my brother. You're just killing it. Anyway, you got a promo up for everybody. Give it out. And then I know you're away on vacay, so I don't want to keep you. There's probably a lineup of women outside of your door waiting. Do you use the machine where they have to pick a number?
Come on, Prez. I try and be a gentleman. You know, I'm not going to tell you that on the air. So maybe another time. But hey, the bosses put together a fantastic promo. We talked about the run, 7-0, 72% on the NFL season. You can get all my plays in every sport through the Super Bowl, $199.
Wow.
$199. You're not going to find a better deal anywhere on the planet. So credit to our bosses. Go get that. I've already got a 5% play locked and loaded for Sunday. Let's finish this season strong.
Outstanding stuff. Jimmy Adams, everybody. Jimmy, go. They're calling your name. Anyway, Teddy, what did you learn in the wonderful world of sports betting last night?
So, how do I describe what we learned last night? So, I want to talk about an NBA situation that's happened a fair bit in recent weeks, where a key rotational piece getting some back in lineup, not the star player, but one of their key guys. We've seen it a couple times. We saw Desmond Bain come back in Memphis. We saw Robert Williams back in Boston. We saw Chris Middleton back in Milwaukee. Well, Bain came back in Memphis, and the key piece of the equation, and what's happened? Because he's been out of sync. 1-2 straight up and against the spread since his return. They've been out of sync for a week or two now. Middleton came back for Boston. The Celtics went 0-3 straight up on ATS in his first 3 games back. Middleton for Milwaukee. Bucks were money losers during the first 7 games back. 3 straight up losses as favorites. Now he's back out again. NBA stars are going to affect the point spread. The second or the third fiddles, the fourth fiddles, they're going to affect the flow every bit as much, if not more, than the stars. When it comes to adjusting power ratings in the NBA, and I make this mistake sometimes as well, I really try not to adjust at all on a player's injury. Adjust them on the performance, the team's performance after the injury. I try not to adjust power ratings on a player's return from injury. I adjust on the improved or not performance after the player comes back. So the markets tend to be ahead of the performance levels for teams when stars come in and out of the lineup, when role players come in and out of the lineup. That's something as bettors, in theory, we can take advantage of. Stood out to me last night with my losing bet on the Grizzlies. Desmond Bain and the offense didn't click at all in that one. And that has been the case pretty much since he got back on the floor for Memphis Grizzlies that 2 weeks ago was playing better without, in theory, their second best player. Prez?
Teddy, awesome stuff. I had a great night last night. I went out for a beautiful dinner. Indian food, my favorite food on the planet. If any of you guys are in Toronto, there's an Indian restaurant called Authentic Street Food Co. It's on Bayview. It got a shout out by Michelin, and it is freaking spectacular. Skee Profits. We love having you on the show, brother. And we're going to start right off the bat with holy Luka. 60 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists, never been done before, an ending to the game that we just don't see. I mean, Teddy got on the show a couple of days ago and spoke about this 12-point comeback. First time in 18,756 million games, or the second time. But last night, what Luka did was absolutely freaking ridiculous. How good is this guy?
I mean, obviously, top 5 player in the league. Superstars, not that many superstars that we have, but I have to be honest, Prez. I feel like crap, and I felt like crap the past couple of days. I didn't even get to see it. I've been sick. I was asleep at 5 p.m., so I have to go back and see the magic that Luka was doing last night, but I'm not surprised by it.
Yeah, dude, they were down by 9 points with 30 seconds on the clock. It was something else. Anyway, let's get
it's like Reggie Miller type.
Yeah.
Well,
teammate.
There's two key factors there. One is that it wasn't a complete collapse by their opponent. The Knicks didn't fall apart. They missed a free throw and they turned it over once. I think they missed 2 free throws in the final.
They missed 2 free throws.
Like the Knicks turned it over and then missed it. It was an awful possession. It was just Dallas hit everything. And of course, Luka executed the play that no one ever executes. The Knicks fouled up 3, sent Luka to the line, said he'd only get the 2 free throws. He hit the first, and you never see the guy actually successfully execute it. Missed the second. McGee taps it to him, drains the bucket at the buzzer, or just before the buzzer, and goes to overtime. So, yeah, Luka was pretty impressive last night. Certainly down the stretch. 9 points down with 30 seconds to go. You don't normally lose those ones when you're the dog or the favorite.
Yeah, +5 for the New York Knicks. Their bettors must have cried. Skee, let's get into it, man. LA Lakers and Miami tonight. You're on the total. You're going over or under, and why?
You have to look towards the over, and Teddy, he'll remember this, but no Anthony Davis, no defense. It's as simple as that. A lot of these guys on the Lakers team are defensive liabilities, and he's the one who makes up for it all. They don't have a lot of size. You hear LeBron in his interview pretty much, sending shots at management and just telling them he's tired of having to deal with it. If they have lineups out there on the floor at times where the tallest guy is 6'7", you're not going to get that many stops. So the over so far without Anthony Davis this season is 7-2. And when they're on the back-to-back, the over is 3-0. If you want to go back to last season, over is 32-17-1. That is about 65.3%. And it hasn't really mattered who they've been playing. But if you look at what both teams combined the last 2 weeks, it's about 230.5, which gets us over this 227 number. I think it was 225.5, and it's been climbing the past couple hours. I locked in 226. I still like it at 227. And I did want to mention a couple props, and also real quick before I do, just to put numbers to what I'm saying, Lakers are the worst defensive rated team in the league the last 5 games. Absolutely no defense being played, but a top 10 offensive rated team. So I think that's what we'll see tonight. Player props that I'm targeting, they were not out yet. That's the only reason I'm not sure. If LeBron plays, I think you have to look towards his point prop because his game is going to be played with pace, and he's just been on a tear really since AD went out, but even a little bit before that. His last 8 games, he's averaging 32.7. And if his point prop is under 30 or at 30.5, I would be interested. And if he doesn't play, I would really like Russell Westbrook. Even if he does play, I still think I like this prop. But Westbrook, he only played 29 minutes last night. If his rebounds and assists number comes out, somewhere like 10.5 or 11 or somewhere short like that. I mean, the last 8 games, he's been killing. He's averaging closer to 13. So those are the 2 players that I'm targeting in this game. The one play that I have that's official is the over. Best number you can get is 227 right now.
So I certainly can't argue with anything you said about the Lakers defense. But my concern here is twofold. One, Miami's the other piece of the equation. I mean, Miami doesn't cash a whole lot of over bets, and when they do, they tend to be lower scoring games. They're 5-2 to the under last 7, and in none of them have they played. None of those last 7 games have played enough to go up and over this total tonight. So Miami's not playing with the pace for LA, and we've got a bunch of injury questions with potential rest for LeBron on the second of back-to-backs. We don't know yet if Jimmy Butler's going to go. We don't know left yet if Bam Adebayo is going to go for the Heat. Given Miami's propensity to play lower scoring games and given the injury concerns for Miami here, does that affect your thought process on this total at all?
It doesn't worry me too much. If Bam Adebayo is missing for the Miami side, I mean, you'll see a little bit of the same thing for them. It'll be a lot of rim protection missing. And if Jimmy Butler's out, you'll probably get some more guys in the lineup who are better shooters, not as good as defenders. So I would think, that trends itself to more points in this game. So no, it wouldn't scare me off, Teddy.
Skee Profits, everybody. Skee, awesome stuff. Guys, I got to tell you, Daniel in the chat room, I don't know if this is Douglas. I mean, Douglas, are your stats real? So Douglas points out that there have been 13,384 games with a team down 9 points with less than 35 seconds left, and never, ever has a team come back until last night. The first time in 13,884 games it was done. I don't know that stat to be true, but Douglas seems to know what he's talking about. He's very complimentary about the Prez and his amazing NBA. So clearly, Douglas is a smart cat. Is that true?
Can you do me a favor, Prez, and repeat the record?
13,384 games. A team was up by 9 or more. I guess maybe at least 9. 9 or more with 35 seconds, and never, ever have they lost.
I want to say, I mean, I'm thinking about Tracy McGrady doing some crazy stuff, and I've seen him, either him or Reggie Miller. He's had a moment too. I've seen it a couple times, I think.
Well, he said at least 9, not exactly 9. I'm believing Douglas. I mean, Douglas is a good dude. He pointed out that I won my Philadelphia-Washington bet yesterday. I mean, this is a smart guy. Teddy, what do you think about that? That's insane, right?
It doesn't happen very often. If you had the Knicks, and again, the Knicks were, depending on when you got them, plus 4.5, plus 5, plus 5.5. There was money that came on Dallas right before tip-off of that game when Jalen Brunson was announced as out. That was a very late announcement. It was maybe in the last 15 minutes. So the closing number says Dallas minus 5.5. For most of the day, that 5.5 wasn't available. It was 4.5 or 5.
Right.
So, yeah, tough if you had the Knicks, no question. And, I had the Knicks last night.
Dan Newber and one of our other listeners, Buccaneer Bry, says he thinks Reggie Miller did it, but from 8 down, not 9.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure.
Freaking twice this week, we've had the most insane NBA comebacks. Unbelievable stuff. Okay, Denver and Sacramento. Skee, you like the total in this one? Where are you going, my brother?
Yeah, this is, I think of Kelly when I play this one because it's more of a system kind of play. And I know how she, just plays those division unders and says she can't pick which one she chooses. She has to play them all. But this system here is pretty much 2 teams playing within a week. The first meeting went under, and the bookmakers have adjusted the total lower in the second meeting. So they're expecting the second meeting to be lower scoring. I have the record as 131, 75, and 7. 63.6% since 2013. And if you look specifically when these teams are on a back-to-back, one of these quick, turnaround situations, I have 17 and 8, 68% to the under. So that's the way I'm going to go in this game. Last 3 meetings, like we just saw one last night, they've all stayed under. They combined to average 216.5. I guess is well under the 236 that we're looking at tonight. Denver, they're a team that, I don't think about as a great defensive team, but, they've been picking it up lately. Last 5 games, they're the second best defensive rated team in the league. So if they can keep that up and, just playing again in this short time frame, teams will be familiar with each other's offenses. Sabonis, still a game time decision. He's a big factor for Sacramento's offense, and I'm not sure that he's going to go tonight. So I'm looking for this one to stay under the 236 number.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't talk you out of this. And Denver's been an under machine of late, 5 unders in their last 6 ball games. Now, the Sabonis injury is a key one here. And I don't know how you approach NBA handicapping in terms of players in or out. It can make you absolutely crazy. And I tend to stay away from if this guy is in, I'm going to bet on them, and this guy's out, I'm not. I'm looking for undervalued teams or spots or where the particular personnel isn't the arbiter of whether I'm going to be involved in the game or not. That said, Sabonis is the key for Sacramento in terms of their low post game. The whole offense runs through, Sabonis. Do you worry at all if he plays versus if he doesn't play? I would think you'd like the under more if he doesn't play, but is a no-go if he does suit up tonight.
Absolutely, I would like it more if he does not go. But I think, that's a little bit a part of the reason why the bookmakers open this one lower. They're probably expecting him not to go in this game. So that's why in these kind of situations, I tend to put my money on the side that I think the bookmakers are expecting to win. So I'm not worried whether he plays or not is the answer to your question.
Skee Profit. Skee, awesome, brother. What do you got to promote for the clients?
Well, I've been the hottest. NBA has been a little bit cold the past week. NFL has been picking me up. I've won 16 of my last 24 wagers over there.
Nice.
And I'll just put this out there. I was happy to hear Jimmy Adams say he's looking at the Carolina side, because I put in a teaser with the Carolina Panthers up to the 9, and I put them with the Patriots up to 7.5, and that Patriots line is gone. So it makes me feel confident. And we'll be attacking this NFL card pretty heavy this week. So appreciate you guys having me on, and good luck to everybody.
Oh, Skee, we love having you on. Hakeem Profits, everybody. Guys, this show has just begun, man. We got commercial break, Teddy's big game breakdown, Art frickin' DiCesare coming up after that. And of course, if we get to 100 likes, the daily presidential address. Daniel's son, cue it up, baby.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at WagerTalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at WagerTalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to WagerTalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's go to the association for Wednesday night and talk about New Orleans and Minnesota right now. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen. I'm seeing the Pelicans, let's call it -6.5, total 234 against Minnesota this evening. Now, yeah, New Orleans has had some injury concerns. But as we've talked about on the show multiple times, this team is deeper than the average team. And every key quote coming out of New Orleans has been, we're about to go and win the game shorthanded. Zion Williamson, we have a deep team, so many different pieces that can be utilized on any given night. And that's exactly what they've done with the injuries. They may well have Zion back this evening. I don't think Herbert Jones is going to play. I don't think Brandon Ingram is going to play. But they're not going to be completely shorthanded this evening. They're playing defense right now, and they're winning at home, 12-2 in their last 14 games. The only losses at home during that span, Boston and Milwaukee. No shame in those defeats. So New Orleans has been good. They've been undervalued. They're deep, and they're winning at home. Minnesota's not. They've lost their last 3 ball games. Karl Anthony Towns still hurt. They've got a bunch of rotational players missing. They're coming off a game in which they shot lights out against Miami, 54% from the floor against the Heat. And they still couldn't win despite the strong shooting. And right now, this isn't an elite offensive team. They're not an elite defensive team at any piece of the at any point in time. Yeah. Seems a little high with New Orleans given their injury concerns, but I think the price here is perfectly reasonable with a Pelicans team that's playing defense. Willie Green, quote, we're building a foundation defensively because it's sustainable. Our offense can come and go. We didn't shoot the ball great last time out, but we defended. Yeah. Pelicans playing defense. Pelicans the better of these two teams. This is chalk worth laying. Give me New Orleans minus the 6.5. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy covers. Let's bring him in, man. Any second without Art is a bad second. How are you, Art DiCesare?
Good morning, gentlemen. Pleasure to be here.
Oh, of course it's a pleasure to be here. You're with Teddy and I. Come on, man. It's like you're redundant.
I'm no pleasure to be around. You're no pleasure to be around.
I'm always a pleasure to be around, and you should see the comments at the beginning of the show. Teddy's about to bitch slap Prez. Teddy wants jump through the screen, slap Prez out. It's part of the beauty of Teddy and the Prez. Art, how you been, man? How's everything going over there? Westgate competitions are all winding down, and yet there's no break, bro. We're literally going straight into more sports betting. It never freaking ends for you, eh?
Now, World Cup just ended, and now we're in the last couple weeks of the NFL. Bowl season heating up, college basketball rolling, obviously NHL and NBA. Yeah, this is a fun time, especially, as we move through New Year's and obviously NFL playoff football and then the Super Bowl coming. A lot of big weeks ahead for us at the Westgate.
Teddy, I hand the mic to you, bro. I'm going to kick back and listen to you and Art chat, learn some stuff, maybe read.
Sure. Grab a book, Prez. Art and I, the grown-ups will have a conversation. Yeah. You can look at your phone, find a game, find a show you want to watch, knock yourself out. Art, let's talk bowl season for a minute because it feels to me, okay, and again, I've been in Vegas now, this is my 25th bowl season in Las Vegas. It feels to me as if the bowls were more popular to bet 20 years ago than they are today. That the bettors are having more issues with the opt-outs, that the action was bigger. Is that the case, or is that just my perspective and my perspective's off? Because I'm off to a crappy start in bowl season.
No, Teddy, I think you're right. And I think especially these lowercase bowls, obviously we're starting to pick up and some of the bigger teams are starting to play. But, we've had a lot of these games in these last couple of days that have featured 6-6 teams. A lot of people don't know what to do with those teams. Maybe they haven't even seen those teams. I will say this, though. People haven't gotten involved pregame, but we've been offering in-game stuff over the counter on all these games. So we've seen actually some good in-game stuff come in because people are sitting in the book. They see the way the game starts, and then they get involved. Maybe they didn't want to get involved pregame. So the in-game has actually been pretty decent on these last couple of bowl games, and I think that will continue today.
Art, amazing. Like I said to Teddy, I had one question to ask you, but now I got two. In-game betting, has it affected everything across the board? Has the concept of in-game betting taken away from the pre-game betting? Have you noticed that at all, or are you still getting the same amount of bets on a regular basis and the in-game betting has just enhanced that?
I think it depends on the event, Prez. Obviously, the in-game betting has enhanced. Some guys make a bet pre-game, and then after a quarter, they can get out of their bet. They can double down on their bet. There's a lot of ways they can go with the in-game betting. But, I just noticed, like I said, just to key in on these college football bowls, the lower tier ones, especially, too, you got to remember in Vegas, some of these bowls are starting 9 a.m., noon, Vegas time, where people are maybe not even realizing there was a bowl game. Maybe they trickle into the book. It's a quarter in, and they're like, oh, wait, I didn't know there's a bowl game. Oh, there's in-game. We can make an in-game bet. So I think it really just depends on the event. Obviously, the NFL, you get plenty of pregame bets on it because it's the NFL, so that will never change. And then the pregame just enhances NFL betting.
Yeah. Art, a bunch of people in the chat room, and I want to address this because it's really important. Chris L starts with, it's us against the bookies. Art is the enemy. And then Abel says it's us against Art DiCesare. And then another person says the same thing. Art, what a misconception, hey? I mean, these guys think that you people, the books are like, it's us against them. That's not how it works. Do you want to address that?
You know, I've heard that before. I've even had people DM me on Twitter like, oh, you were on WagerTalk. I feel like you're giving out false information, or why would you let me know where the sharps are leaning? And I'm like, listen, you know, you can believe what you want to believe. Teddy and I have had this conversation a million different times. It's not us against you. It's not you against us. We're going to do what we're going to do regardless. So you could look at me as the enemy. That's okay. I mean, I guess I can wear the villain hat, but it is not that way.
Yeah. Teddy?
Yeah, well, I mean, people tend to think that, tend to overestimate the importance of their own action or the action of people they know in relation to what the book is actually getting. Because I told when I first came to town, I remember hearing multiple bookmakers talking on various radio shows, and I'm like, I'm not listening to that. I'm sure he's giving out false info. Why would he tell me that? And then as you get to understand the industry a little bit more, you realize the bookmakers can tell you everything that they know, all right, as Art DiCesare does every week. And it's still not going to make a drop's worth of difference in the handle the book actually takes. You know, what Art's saying on air today does not affect the handle that's coming into the Westgate. It just doesn't. And even if he said it on every radio show and every TV show that he did and was on every show in town, it still wouldn't affect the handle all that much. So one thing that I have learned to understand that I didn't understand when I first moved out here is that the odds maker can legitimately tell you everything he thinks and everything he cares about and everything he sees. And it's not going to affect the betting markets one iota. Art's always been forthcoming with us, and we appreciate it. Let's talk about bowl action for today. What are we seeing? And I also want to talk about the games, the big games for not New Year's Day, January 2nd. Is that deflating handle? The fact that the games aren't being played on New Year's Day this year, the day after, they're on a Monday. So talk about today's games, talk about the big games on the 2nd for a few moments here, Art, if you would.
Yeah, sure. A couple games today. The Liberty Bowl. It's been nothing but Kansas money. You know, Kansas was as high as +4 against Arkansas. It's now 2.5. So we've seen some good Kansas money come in. This UNC-Oregon game in the Holiday Bowl, the total has been all over the place. It's been nothing but over money. It was 68. It's now 75.5 to the over. So you've seen over a touchdown move to the total. You know, it's funny. We've had sharps on both sides. Now that we're at UNC -13, we've had sharps lay the 13. I'm sorry, Oregon -13. We've had them lay that. And then UNC took money at +14 and +14.5. So kind of both sides of that. Couple of bowls, you know, a couple days after, you got the Cheez-It Bowl. Public has been on FSU against Oklahoma. It was 7.5. It's now 9.5. It's been no sharp money on that. It's been all public money on Florida State. Same thing kind of in the Orange Bowl with Clemson and Tennessee. We did take sharp money early on Tennessee +7, but since then, the public has been on Tennessee, even taking shots with them on the money line against Clemson. A lot of people thinking Clemson won't care about the game, even though Tennessee is missing their quarterback. So that's pretty interesting. So a couple of public plays later in the week on FSU and Tennessee.
Now, when it comes to the big games, January 2nd, and certainly the biggest games are the 2 playoff games, but they're not the only action on January 2nd. You have Mississippi State, Illinois, and Tulane, USC in early action for Monday. Is the handle a little bit deflated because it's on January 2nd and a Monday as opposed to being on January 1st? And what are we seeing in terms of the earlier action for the marquee matchups that everyone's going to be watching?
Yeah, you know, Teddy, I think marquee matchups are still going to be marquee matchups no matter where they fall. And you got big teams, especially that Ohio State-Georgia game. You know, that line, though, has been steady. It's been 6.5, and it hasn't moved off that. And that's despite us taking a 5-1 ticket count on Georgia. We have not moved off the 6.5. We've been steady with that. The total, which opened at 60.5, has gone to 62. So we've seen good over money come in there. We'll need Ohio State in the game because of all the Georgia money, all the Georgia teaser money, all the Georgia parlay money line money. So, Georgia will be a team we are rooting against. The TCU-Michigan game, that was opened as high as 9. Sharps bet TCU at 9. And now that the line's basically settled at 7.5, the ticket count's kind of dead even. I mean, if you look at the side for us, we've basically taken even ticket counts on both sides now that it's been 7.5. And then the total has moved down. It was 61 when we opened it. It's now 58.5. So we've seen under money come in, but then, we'll get a little bit buyback when we move down half a point or a point. So it's not even like we're buried to the under right now. We've actually balanced the book out on the total as far as the over-under goes in the TCU-Michigan game.
Yeah, nice stuff. And in keeping with what we were talking about with us versus the books, guys, that's literally what the books are trying to do. Just balance out the action, take their 10%. It's roughly, Teddy, I see the finger. Go ahead.
The books, that's what the books are. The books will always have decisions. We talk about the theory of bookmaking with the practice of bookmaking. And the theory of bookmaking is you're trying to attract equal action on both sides. The practice of bookmaking is the books have decisions every day, many decisions every day. But they don't win them all. They don't lose them all. They're going to be split. That's all I was trying to say. It's not about always splitting the action.
To give you guys perspective, it's about 3% a handle is the profit the gross profit margin for sports books. So that's somewhere around the number, give or take. Art, let's talk about NFL. Man, this is look, it's tough in the last 2 weeks. It's one of those scenarios where many teams are going to go for it on fourth down. Many teams are going to play contrary to their sort of personality. Anything can happen with a lot of these games, with a lot of teams that are playing in a meaningless situation. But there's also a lot of really important games, especially on Monday night, where Buffalo is playing Cincinnati. We've got the Carolina-Tampa Bay game on tap. There are Washington Commanders are in dire need of a win. The Giants game is fascinating. Jacksonville. They're inside of a week where a lot of games don't count. There's some juicy, delicious games as well. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? How can you help us?
Yeah, Prez, I'm with you. And it's funny that this past week in the NFL felt like every team went for it multiple times on fourth down. It was wild. You always got to touch on the game tomorrow, the Cowboy-Titan game. There's not a lot of interest as far as, is it important to Dallas? I mean, they're in. Titans really just have to wait for the Week 18 game against Jacksonville. The look-ahead line on this game was 4.5. That's because Tannehill was the quarterback. Reopened 9.5. It's now 11. So nothing but Cowboy money. A lot of under money, too, has come in. Sharps were on 43 under. Now it's 40. So low total in that game. Prez, you touched on it. My Giants getting a lot of love. Giants at home against the Colts. They win and they're in. So the Giants just have to take care of business there. Sharps laid 3. Sharps also laid 5. It's now Giants -6. And then an interesting one that has a team way out of it and a team that's, basically they win and they can be in. Rams at Chargers. There's been a lot of sharp money on the Rams. They took them at 8. They took them at 7.5. They took them at 7. Now Chargers -6.5 at home. Chargers are usually bad as a favorite. I think people are enamored by what they've seen out of Baker. They put up 51 points. Baker is basically playing for his NFL life. So a lot of Ram money came in early, which I guess wasn't shocking at the number, but the Rams are bad and the Chargers are playing for stuff.
Arthur DiCesare bringing his A game to Wager Talk today. If you didn't find some good information that Arthur DiCesare that can help you in your betting, with Arthur, just the info he just broke down for us, I say you missed something, because I think he gave us a ton of strong info. Mr. DiCesare, what do you have to promote? Talk to us about what's going on at the Westgate. Talk to us about what's going on in your life.
Well, Teddy, as always, the Westgate, we're still firing. We're still doing things. We still got that great app promo. It runs through the Super Bowl. If you're coming in town, even if you're in town for a couple of days, guys, get the app. You're going to get a bet 100. You basically deposit 100, you get 100. So it's like a free $100 bet. And even if you're in town for a couple of days, take advantage of it. You could sit in your nice, comfy chair, not have to get in line and make the bets. As always, Teddy, I'm going to break a little news to you here because I haven't texted you back. But, you can also catch me with Teddy on his Sirius show this week. We're going to break down some bowl games. So, him and I still have to figure out the time we're going to do. I'm going to hop on with him later in the week. We're going to do some of that. And if anyone's ever down at the Westgate, just ask for Arthur DiCesare, and I'll be more than happy to help you with whatever you need for your football viewing and gambling experience. I'm always there for everyone. And I see everyone from WagerTalk come in and say, I love you with Prez and Teddy. You're the best. I can't believe you're actually here and I get to talk to you. And it's always good to see people. So always come ask for me.
At ArtDice21 on Twitter. Thank you so much, Arthur DiCesare. Hope you have a great Wednesday. And I look forward to chatting with you on Sirius XM this weekend. Prez, why don't you get ready? Because your presidential address starts right now.
Okay, guys, time for the daily presidential address. Before we get into it, I got 3 NHL games to give out on this video. But before that, I have to emphasize what I think is the best promotion ever done for me personally. Basically, buy my college and NBA combined package. It's $999. Use the promo code SAVE500. And you literally get $500 off of that package. To give you perspective, I am 43-18 in my last 61 basketball bets, 43-18. I'm on a 10-2 NBA run. I'm on a 30-14 college basketball run. I am up 55 units already in both sports combined. Use that promo code. Please save 500. As for your NHL plays tonight, I like the Calgary Flames against Seattle minus 114. I think Calgary is going to be a bet on team for me moving forward. I think they've had a tough start to the season, but this is a very good team with an outstanding goaltender. And I like them tonight. And if they don't win tonight, I'll be right back on them the next game they play. I also like the New Jersey Devils tonight against the Boston Bruins. Lost to Boston 4-3 the game before the break. Now they got them again, so they're in a back-to-back with the Bruins. Bruins played last night, and on a travel day, I like Boston to lose tonight, and I like over the total in the Vegas and Anaheim game. That's it for the show. What a wonderful day. Teddy, my brother, take us home.
That's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition of Wager Talk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow, on Thursday, and on Friday, every weekday, right here, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you back east. Between now and tomorrow's show, enjoy the games, and good luck with all of your wagers.
The Gold Sheet wants you to end the 2022 football season on a winning note while getting a head start on planning for the next season. Founded in 1957, the Gold Sheet is the country's longest-running sports betting newsletter and has served bettors for over 6 decades. So if between 1957 and now, if you have not checked out the Gold Sheet, here's your chance to see what you have been missing out on at a huge discount. Each weekly edition of the Football Gold Sheet is normally $15, but for the holidays, you can get every edition from now through Super Bowl 57 for just a total of $19. If you like what you see, take advantage of the super early bird pricing for next year by locking in your Football Gold Sheet subscription for 2023 for just $99. You will receive every college football and NFL edition for next season for just $99, plus a free $59 credit to use towards Gold Sheet's LTS picks at WagerTalk. Instructions for redeeming your WagerTalk credit will be sent shortly after your purchase. Just go to goldsheet.com, click the Buy Now button, choose a 2022 Football Gold Sheet for $19, and lock yourself in through the Super Bowl